Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Tip of the Week. So this week I'm going to take a little interlude out of our normal sort of tip and we'll do a bit of a project tip instead. So this week let's make a holiday card or a winter card. I thought it would be fun just to do kind of a little project together to break it up from the normal sort of thing we do on the tip of the week, and I will do this project today in Animate so that we can do things in Animate, Animate Pro, and Harmony that are all kind of along a similar vein. So to get started here, I'm just going to create myself a little snowman. So I'll take an ellipse here, and in Animate it comes with this preset palette, but I really like to make my own palette so that I have only the colors that I need. So I'm just going to remove all those colors in there, and then I can create my own colors. So for the outlines of my snowman, I'll click on the value tab here so that I can see the value, and I'm going to make it kind of a gray color. And then I'll create a new color. This is going to be the actual inside of the snowman, and I'll make it a radial color. And it's going to be a sort of a white and gray. Now if you do what I just did and you put the white on the wrong side, then you can always drag these tabs on the bottom here, and you can drag them in fact right past each other so that you get the colors now on the correct side, and then I might want to adjust that and make that a little bit lighter. So now in here I can go in and I can draw that, and maybe that's a little bit too big, that size of the line, so I can hold down the O shortcut to make my line a bit thinner. And then I can make, now I'm going to make 3 circles here. And you could, if you wanted to animate the snowman pieces separately, then you could make this kind of a little cutout character. So why don't we go ahead and do that. So this is going to be snowman base. And I'll add another for snowman middle. And then a third one for snowman top. And then I'll have probably also snowman arm, and we'll make that one the left one, and then we'll have a snowman arm right. When you have a straight on character that's not going to flip, you can label things left and right, but if you're going to be having kind of a 3/4 view of your snowman, then you should label it front and back, just like we talked about in some of our earlier tips of the week. So then I'll put my top circle up here. And when I'm rearranging the placement of these drawings here, if I'm still in the rigging stage, I'm using my select tool. Some people mistakenly use their transform tool at this point, but you don't want to use your transform tool unless you're actually animating. So if you're just placing things, then you want to make sure that you use your select tool instead. So when I was looking at my snowman, I decided I kind of wanted it to be white a little bit closer to the edge, so I'm just adjusting. I clicked in the middle there to add a new tab on the gradient, and then you can drag downwards if you'd like to remove that tab. And so now I can go back to the middle, and I will fill this guy in there, and then I'll go to the base and fill that guy in there. So I'll just switch my transform tool for a second to check out what my snowman looks like. So he's looking pretty good so far. And then I'll just add an arm on the right and on the left. So I'm just going to go ahead and use my line tool, and for the arms, they're made out of tree branches, so those will be kind of a brown color. And you can use either your line tool or you can actually draw it out with your brush tool if you want to do that as well. But I'm just going to, for the sake of argument, do this here with my line tool. And remember that with Animate and Animate Pro, you don't have that thick and thin pencil line, but if you always want to add thick and thin afterwards, you can select your lines here, and then you can convert them to brush lines. And wow, it looks like I made a gradient color here somehow. Let's put that back to solid again. There we go. And so now I have brush lines with a solid color. So I'm just going to flatten all these down to one line as well, and then I can go in there and I can adjust those points. So if I want to make the branch a little bit wider there at the bottom side of things, then I can just move those contour points, and I can remove contour points that I don't need. And so if I want to just, let's say at the top there, I can just remove a couple of those. And you can also drag on the line directly there, which is maybe another cool way of getting a different look on your tree branches. rather than having to actually go in and remove contour points and things. But a combination of doing both of those will get you the look that you want. And so let's just do this here. So just for the sake of making things easy, I copied the arm that I did on the left-hand side here over to the right-hand side. But I can go ahead and make some changes just to make it look like it's not exactly the same branch. Okay, and then I'll add a layer for a hat on this guy. So you can make your hat using probably a black color. And a hat is kind of comprised of a few different circles. So in my opinion, that's probably the easiest way to actually make the hat as well. And then the other kind of neat little trick that you might not know about is if you're using the snapping tools, you can turn on snap to contour here, and then you can actually like snap from the middle of one line to the middle of the other line to get the final look on that hat. So this one's going to go like, well, I guess what I should do is I should move this one a little bit higher up, and that's probably going to look better. And then I'll snap this one from there to there. And yeah, a little bit higher even. Like that, maybe. And I'll still snap that from there to there. Okay, so then a little trick here to get rid of the lines in the middle there is if you go and select your contour editor, then you can select actually the lines on the contours between those elements there just to get rid of those lines. So I only want kind of the up-facing lines on these guys. And I can also hit the K shortcut to show strokes, which can help you just to make sure that you're selecting the right lines there. So that's pretty good there. And then what I'm going to do, I'll just delete the down facing one there. And then what I'll do is I'll fill this in with a couple of colors. I'm going to do a gradient here. And this one is going to be a linear gradient. And so I'll just turn the saturation down there. And I'll put that like that. And then I'm going to have like a ribbon in the center that's going to be a lighter color, maybe a blue ribbon. Let's put a blue ribbon. So turn the value up a little bit, get it in the blue range, and then I can have that be a little bit lighter in the center and darker on the outsides. And then I can paint that one in there. There's my hat. Okay. Yeah, so for this guy's hat, I probably also just want to move these lines in the front and the back there a little bit higher so that I don't have too much of the inside of the hat showing. Okay, and then lastly now, let's label that one hat, and then lastly I'm going to go onto the top section of my snowman and I'm just going to give him some facial features. I don't think I'm going to animate these guys around separately, so they don't need to be on their own layer, but if you are going to animate them separately, then they should be on their own layer. But these are going to be like his coal eyes, right? So let's give him some coal eyes here like so. So if you're doing the eyes on the same layer as your head, after you draw the eyes, make sure you're not on paint unpainted, because if there's already some paint color in there, it won't paint over it there. So just go back to the regular paint option and then you can paint those coal eyes in there. And then he's going to have a little bit of a carrot nose, so let's draw our carrot nose. The outline will be a solid color. And we'll do the inside with a gradient just like before, just to keep that consistent kind of look to this. And then I'll use my line tool here to create the carrot nose like that. And with your snap to contour on, you can snap it to the center there, and then you can use your contour editor and just drag that guy over there. And you can give some extra little lines in the center if you want to. And I find these lines are looking a little bit thick, so since I drew them with the pencil line, I can select all of my lines there, and I can make it a different size. So right now it's at 23, so why don't I put it down to 10? And then I like that a lot more. And since I did it to a round number like 10, it means I can adjust my properties on all my layers to give them the same size very easily. So there's my carrot, and then I'll paint it in with this gradient here, and I'll turn off my close gap because I just want it to paint through the whole thing. And now the only other thing though here is that I'd like to reorient my gradient. So I'm going to use the Edit Gradient Texture tool, and I'm going to just move it like so, so that the gradient's going up and down. Actually, I'll move that guy down there like that, and then I'll scale this down here.